Hey, Kevin here, and in this video we're going to talk about proper movement in your forms and in your basic stances and doing your basics, as well as the clock principle. So by the end of this video, not only are you going to know how to move properly, but you're also going to understand what I'm talking about when I talk about the clock principle in future videos. Okay, first let's cover the clock principle. I use the clock principle when discussing and describing self-defense techniques as far as what direction you should move in when defending. And it also describes where you are in relation to your attacker. So the clock principle would be you are standing in the center of a clock. All the numbers would be all the way around you, but 12 o'clock is always whatever is in front of you. It doesn't matter which way you face. If I turn this way, this now becomes 12. If I'm facing you, you're at 12. And Bob there would be at my 6 o'clock, this guy. So, and then this would be 3. If I turn this way, this is now 12, 3, and 6 is over here. So no matter which way you face, 12 o'clock is always in front of you. Now the most common directions that we're going to move in our defenses are 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 8 o'clock on the 45-degree angles. We'll also move to 3 and 9 as well, but those are the most common. 10 and 2 are the ones you'll hear more often than not. So using Bob and looking at it from behind, so facing Bob is now at 12 o'clock. You're at 6. So when I'm describing a self-defense technique, if Bob was to throw a punch with his right hand and I was standing here and he threw a punch all of a sudden, I'm going to step to 10 o'clock. And when I step, I'm going to always step with the foot on that side. If I'm standing facing Bob, 10 o'clock is on my left, so I'm stepping to 10 o'clock with my left foot. If I'm stepping to 2 o'clock's on my right, I'm going to step to 2 o'clock with my right foot. I'm never going to step to 2 o'clock with my left and cross my feet and end up almost walking into the punch or have him at my back. You're always going to step with the foot on the same side. So if you understand what I'm talking about and you get this and you're following along, go ahead and put a got it in the comments below. So I just wanted to kind of go over that because you're going to be hearing it in future videos. When I talk about defending, doing self-defense techniques, I'm going to be saying, you know, step to 2 o'clock or step to 10 o'clock and do this. And I want you to know what I'm talking about. And it's a very easy way to kind of remember when you're practicing your self-defense techniques, which way to step. Whether it's going to be 10 or 2, you're going to hear it in future videos, and I just want to make sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. So now let's talk about movement. Okay, proper movement. Proper movement is covered in the Tang Soo Do Basics course part 1. And when I'm talking about movement, I'm talking about the proper way to move in your stances, but also the principles behind it. Because if you go online and you look at, pull up a video of a Tang Soo Do hyung, a form, more often than not, you're going to see the student or the even the black belts moving like robots, very robotic. You're going to see, using Kicho Hyung Ilgu, the first form as an example, you'll see them start here and then you'll see them stepping. And this, you're moving like robots, stomping almost. And when you do that, your center of gravity is rising and falling. And that's not what you want to do. Because when your center of gravity rises, you are at a disadvantage. It's easier to be knocked over, it's easier to be knocked off balance. And if somebody is, especially if you're in competition and somebody sees you moving, and even when you're bouncing, because you'll see it in sport karate and you see it in taekwondo all the time where they bounce. And if I'm going to attack you, I'm going to try and spring forward and launch my attack when you're up in the air because your center of gravity is higher and it's easier to catch you and knock you off balance. So I'm going to try and time that. But You also, when you're moving like that, you can't generate the proper power in your techniques when your center of gravity is all over the place. Your center of gravity needs to stay constant, and your body needs to move as a whole unit, using all the power of the whole body behind every technique. And your power starts from the ground when you push. And you're moving against the ground, that initial movement travels through the body from the ground and into your technique and into your opponent. So by moving and stomping and moving like a robot, you're not generating that power. You're totally missing out on all the power you could be generating.
So rather than stepping, like pushing off with your back foot, which is what most people do, I want you to focus on moving from the 1 point. The 1 point is also known as the dantian. It's the center of gravity of the body, and it's 2 inches below your belly button. I want you to focus on moving from that. It's called the 1 point in Aikido. Focusing on the 1 point, your whole body moves as one. It moves in one whole unit. So I want you to try this. Rather than pushing off with your back foot to move forward and move into your next step, I want you to focus on relaxing this front foot. You're in your front stance, let's say, and you're doing your techniques, or you're in your form and you're about to do your next step. Rather than pushing, I want you to just relax this leg. By relaxing the knee and relaxing this leg, your whole body starts to move forward. So by relaxing this leg, your body is already starting to move forward, and all you're gonna do is smoothly step through into your next step. Doing it this way, you're not pushing off, which is kind of launching you upwards, causing your center of gravity to go upwards and downwards. By relaxing that front leg, you're able to stay level. So from here, you're gonna relax this front leg, which gets your body moving forward, and you just step. Because when you push off with your back foot, you're losing power in your technique. When you push off, your center of gravity comes up, and then when you're stepping, you're only getting your body behind this last little bit, this last couple inches. By relaxing your front leg and moving your whole body forward as one unit, your whole body weight is going to be behind that strike because it's staying level. Your center of gravity stays stable. And as you step forward, you're relaxing this leg. And as you step forward, your whole body is going forward into that strike. It's not just, raising that center of gravity, losing your base for part of the movement, and then coming back and having the body just behind the last couple inches as it settles back down. By doing it this way, relaxing the front leg and smoothly stepping forward, you're able to transfer your power directly into that strike. So if you're blocking and you go to step forward, you're going to relax that leg and step forward, and your whole body is behind the strike. It's gaining power. So give that a try. That is one of the biggest keys in proper movement, is keeping your 1 point and moving as a unit, as if somebody is pulling you from your belt. If you have a training partner or you're in class, you can practice stepping from your 1 point by just relaxing that front leg and having somebody step back, holding onto your belt, and kind of gently pulling you as they move backwards. All right? But you want to get in the habit of moving from your 1 point. And like I said, just think of it as somebody pulling you from your belt, so that you're focused on moving from your 1 point, from your hip region, not from stepping and pushing off with your back foot. In this video, we covered proper movement, the keys that I believe are important in proper movement, which is moving from the 1 point, moving from your center, keeping your center of gravity stable rather than raising and lowering it, which you see way too often in Tang Soo Do forms and in techniques these days. Keeping it constant, which is increasing your power. The other thing we talked about too was the clock principle, which is a way to relate to your opponents, being that you're in the center of the clock. Everything, no matter which way you're facing, whatever's in front of you is at 12. And the most common directions to move are 10 and 2 as you step out of the way, parry, block techniques, and go into your defenses. That you will be seeing in future videos. So if you enjoyed this video, you found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any future videos that have come out. And go ahead and share this video with other Tang Soo Do students, martial artists, people you know that may benefit from it on your social media, email it, whatever. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And be sure, if you have not ever studied the martial arts, go to the website, thewarriorinYou.com, and sign up for the Tang Soo Do Basics Part 1 course. It is a course that goes over the history, the tenets, the basic stances, the basic techniques, and the basic forms in the art of Tang Soo Do, so that you can start studying and learning the basics in your own home on your own schedule. So be sure you head over there and sign up for that as well. So until next Wednesday, train hard, stay focused, always do something daily to move towards your goals, and God bless. We will see you next week.